The FPL season review!
Wow, so good.
Cole Palmer scored the most FPL points this season with 244. Foden fills second spot with 230 points, and Ollie Watkins third with 228. An all-English podium.
Brexit means Brexit.
Haaland was the top goal scorer with 27 goals, but only ranked 5th for the most FPL points.
Unlucky.
Watkins was the top assister with 18 FPL assists, despite scoring more goals than assists.
Good evening.
Palmer also scored the most bonus points with 32, claiming all 3 bonus points on 7 different occasions.
Wow, what a number.
The top scoring forwards were Watkins, Haaland, Solanke, Isak and Mateta. Watkins outscored Haaland by 11 points despite starting at 6 million cheaper. Solanke and Mateta combined cost 2 million less than Haaland, but outscored him by over 100 points combined. The top scoring midfielders were Palmer, Foden, Saka, Son and Salah, all scoring over 200 points. Palmer scored more points than anyone else, despite not even starting a game until game week 8. He was also priced at 5 million at the start of the season, the same price as Chelsea teammate Romeo Lavia, who scored 1 point. He actually went down in price at one point to 4.9 million, and he started the season cheaper than the likes of Casemiro, Jorginho, and even Manuel Benson.
Who?
Salah had his worst scoring FPL season since joining Liverpool, and Foden was the highest scoring Man City player, even beating the top goal scorer Haaland. The top scoring defenders were Arsenal, and a few more, with White, Saliba, Gabriel, Pedro Porro and Brathwaite. Everyone claimed White was overpriced at the start of the season, but he scored 18 points more than second place and 33 points over third place as the top scoring defender. The Lord Lundstrom regen, Brathwaite, actually started the season at just 4 million, half the price of Trent Alexander, and he even managed to outscore him. The top scoring goalkeepers were Pickford, Raya, Leno, Onana and Flecken. So despite having T-Rex arms, Pickford was the pick, beating everyone else by 18 points. And 3 of the top 5 keepers' teams finished in the bottom 8 in the league. What the fleck is that about? These were the top 5 scoring players from each position. Champions Man City having the same amount of players as relegation battling Everton with only 2. Villa, Chelsea and Newcastle only had 1 player each despite all qualifying for Europe. And Arsenal had by far the most players here with 5, but 4 of them were defensive assets. Hang on, aren't they supposed to be this super attacking team?
It's embarrassing. It's a disgrace.
These were the top 5 owned players at the end of the season, with Haaland breaking the record for the most ownership a player has ever had in FPL, and he was actually higher than this at one point. These were the highest price rises of the season, Palmer rising a total of 1.3 million from his original price, and actually 1.4 million in total because he went down, and Salah rose by almost a million despite starting as the second highest priced player, and he scored the least amount of points he has for Liverpool. These were the biggest price fallers of the season. Carlton Morris fell in price the most, by almost a million, despite being the 7th top scoring forward, ahead of the likes of Darwin, Nicholas Jackson and Højlund. The player of the week included unlikely faces such as Varane, Nketiah, Tavernier, Benmi and Brereton Diaz. Palmer scored the most points in a week the most times with 3, Foden, Mateta and Son scored the most twice, and Haaland only scored the most points in a game week once, as recent as game week 36, scoring 4 goals in a single game against Wolves. The players appearing in the Dream Team, the team of the week the most, were Palmer, Watkins, Haaland, Salah and Foden. Salah appearing more than the likes of Saka and Son despite scoring less total points, and Haaland appeared more times than Foden despite scoring less. Game week 37 had the highest average points scored in a game week with 83 points, coincidentally the biggest double game week of the season. Game week 4 had the highest average for a single game week with 72 points, a week in which Man City and Spurs both scored 5, Haaland and Son both scoring 20 FPL points. Game week 29 had the lowest average points with just 12 points, the lowest for an FPL game week in history by a whole 7 points. It was also the biggest blank game week with only 4 fixtures, so that kinda does explain why. Game week 11 had the lowest average for a normal game week with just 32 points, despite Man City scoring 6 goals and Chelsea scoring 4. FPL winner Jonas scored 2,799 points, beating second place by a gigantic 51 points. That's another game week. After game week 1, they were ranked as low as 1.2 million, so me and even you were ahead of him, and they didn't reach first in the world until game week 34. Their first transfer of the season was on a goalkeeper, and they only took 3 hits all season. They wildcarded in Game Week 8 into this team, they triple captained Haaland's 15 points in double Game Week 25, they wildcarded in Game Week 30 into this team, free hit in Game Week 34 into this team, and bench boosted in Game Week 37 with 22 points on their bench. But they actually only finished second in the Second Chance League, so unlucky, mate. There's always next year. FPL loser Andrew, who came dead last in FPL, scored minus 2,809 points. He took a minus 76 point hit every single game week, making 740 total transfers, all on goalkeepers. He did actually accidentally score 3 points in a game week once, being caught out by Dean Henderson starting his first game of the season in game week 17. So not quite the maximum lowest points possible. Unlucky, mate. There's always next year. And that is that for the FPL season review. A lot of conclusions to draw from, a lot of narratives to discuss. Is Haaland even worth it next season? Is triple Arsenal defence the hidden cheat code? Is it time to say goodbye to Salah? And will Crystal Palace challenge for the title next year? I'm not going to tell you the answers, but all we know is no matter how much we analyse, plan and discuss FPL, there's always that one random guy that will end up outscoring all of our players, as they always do. And no matter how prepared and how good you think your decision making is, FPL has other ideas for you. And the only thing you can say to that is just one giant unlucky! Thanks for watching. And also, remember...
Don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now. Don't let your memes be dreams.